Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and a very exciting video because today I have hero designer Guillaume with me. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the new heroes, some changes you've done to the old stuff, and a couple of questions from the community as well.
Perfect.
So maybe we can just start off with the two new heroes and maybe a quick roundup of how they work.
Yeah, quick. It might take a while.
That's fine.
So Krennic, the intent behind him is to have a real, Leia and Palpatine are support heroes, but I really wanted to have a real, complete support hero with Krennic because he's, as it was described, he's present on the battlefield. He can use his weapon, but he's helping his team forward. He's a motivator. Mm-hmm. So that was why I just went fully with the support idea with him. So that's why so he has the DT-29 as in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a bit buffed up, but it doesn't have any modification on the base. But the armor breaker is what it's doing a lot of damage. It's doing explosive damage on especially on troopers. It will one-shot troopers. But the team support aspect of it is to have armor reduction.
Mm.
So it will reduce about 30% of the armor of heroes. So it would. Oh. It's best used against far targets or heroes. Not on if you have a lot of troopers around you, because it's only providing you with one bullet and then you have to reload. But it's a toggle ability, so you can toggle between your 6 bullets, normal bullets, or that one bullet that will do a lot of damage and provide help to take down a hero.
All right. Are you able to toggle it off anytime? Because I noticed that when I tried to toggle it off, sometimes it lasted quite a long time, and sometimes
you still need, if you just shot and you're reloading, you can't toggle it off.
So
you have to wait for that reload to toggle it off. So otherwise it would have been confusing, and then you had to cancel the animation. It was a bit too. It was clearer to just have that clear reload for that bullet you had equipped. And then you can toggle it off, and then he's switching to a different type of ammo, basically. Right. So it's also you really have to invest into this and make sure that you're well placed to use that ability. The second ability is a little buddy called C2B5. He's also very, very big team support. He has this personal shield, so it's not a squad shield. Mm-hmm. It's a very large personal shield, and he has the scan ping as the normal droids. But his purpose is to be able to take down a point, especially in Scarif in phase 2. You have to hold on to those bomb placements. So you place him down, and then he's gonna help you hold on a point. And I really wanted him to feel that the Empire is behind it, to have it a bit lethal. So if any of the rebels is trying to take advantage of that droid and take advantage of the personal shield, then he's gonna release the axis around that area, and that will be the death. The very quick death of rebels.
It's a lot deadlier than the normal Deoxys, right?
Yes, exactly. It's as soon as you get into that shield, you have a second or two to get out. But
I noticed I got a couple of kills with it because it was very effective.
Yeah.
And it moves around like the other droids as well.
Exactly, and the personal shield moves around with it, which it was at the start should it stop when it does the personal shield, so it doesn't. It could be an annoyance that it moves around, but I thought at least I just left the droid move around, and it was fun to have the personal shield. I felt move and make you adapt to where it was, so make you react to what the droid was. And that's one of the aspects that Christian talked about, is that we wanted to have the heroes interact more with the troopers. And the Krennic, especially, since he's a support character, but now so the troopers will use the droid to defend themselves with the personal shield, but then it's going to move, so they're going to have to interact with it somehow. So. And the last power is the Wrath of the Empire, and that's a bit, I would say, complicated power.
Yeah.
But that's putting trust in the player who's playing Krennic to use it properly. On heroes, it will give a high armor boost and 10% extra bonus health. But on troopers, it will affect them differently. It will give them 100 full life plus 100 health boost, and high armor for 12 seconds.
Okay.
So it will, like, everyone who is around Krennic for its 12 meters radius will become really tanky. So it will be a very big push for the Empire when he's using that ability, but it will drain them. So that 200 health will drain down. You won't be able to get backed, and you won't be able to regen until you add 50% health, and then you get back to normal.
I see.
So he's pushing you. The metaphor is that he's pushing you so much that you're getting really powerful with it, but then you're left strained because you gave too much of yourself.
So it's about how long does that bonus health last before it drains down? So I think, is it worth like using it at a spawn, or should you just use it in action?
You should use it in action, because if you use it at a spawn, then the health we start to have drained for a bit. It still stays for a while. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's between 30 and 40 seconds.
Okay.
So it's unless you get shot, and then it's going faster, but it takes a bit of time, but it's better, of course, to use it just at the right moment. And his trait is his trait is the first trait, well, with Vader now, but the first trait that doesn't improve with kills. His trait is improving with how many soldiers, or how many allies you have around you, and the heroes count as 2. So heroes count as more. So in Heroes versus Villains, where you have less friendlies around you, you will still get that higher buff. So it was again to push players to play with the heroes, and I really wanted to have that final effect where you would have Krennic and all these troops coming with him in that aspect. So it would make players stay with him and have that interaction where you have that team play with the heroes and not only the heroes going around and killing.
But do different armors? I'm thinking, because you said it gives you armor, right? Increase.
Yes, sorry, it gives armor to Krennic, but also to everyone who is around you.
Okay, so but what if, let's say, because the Wrath of the Empire only gave armor to both heroes and infantry.
Yes, but temporarily. Okay,
temporarily. Yes. But do they stack the trait?
Yes, those stack.
So I can imagine when he pops everything, it's going to be very valuable in Heroes versus Villains.
Yes, exactly. It will be like it will be the moment to just push forward.
So yeah, anything else about Krennic, or should we move on to Jyn?
No, we can, I think, move on to Jyn. Krennic. Of course, he has his Death Troopers.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about those guys. So there's 2 spawns, just like Palpatine has. And they have 3 abilities. So one is the cooling cell for the DLT-19. So to let them shoot, just spray longer, faster, feel more powerful. They have also the thermal imploder. And the last one is the rocket launcher. The
smart rocket.
Smart rocket.
Yeah.
So the last one is the smart rocket. So the point was to have them feel really powerful. They're also taller and bigger than most troopers. They should really feel strong, but also they have less health than the honor guards, for example.
Oh, they do.
The red guards.
Yeah.
So they will die faster, I would say, but they will have more. They're more powerful than the honor guards in terms of damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the imploder and smart rocket is going to be very deadly. It's the most strong power-ups in the game almost.
Yeah, and that's like on the other side, Jyn doesn't have honor guards, so that was to balance the to not have them on the field too long either. So to still have those, because they are a big presence in the movie. Together with Krennic, so to still have that present, that feeling, but to not have them as long on the field as for balancing at least.
While we're talking, before we move on to Jyn, just quickly, while we're talking about the Death Troopers, I had two questions. First off, if you don't have the Scarif DLC and you're playing like Walker Assault or something, can you still spawn in as Death Troopers?
Yes,
you can.
You can.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. As long as you're not playing on the DLC 4 map, on a Scarif map, you will be able to do that. So.
Okay. And also, if there's both Palpatine and Krennic on the same, will it be like two options to select between them?
Yes, definitely. So you can spawn as a Red Guard or as a Death Trooper. So
All right.
it will be quite a few guards, so 4 guards at the same time, but they will die quickly.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to Jyn then.
Yes. So Jyn, she has so first ability is the Truncheon Surge. So Lucasfilm described Jyn as someone really like a brawler that is really effective, not trained, but really effective in her fighting style. And she's so she can use the baton, she can use blasters, and she felt really agile and dynamic. And that's what I wanted to have in the character, to have someone that you have to be constantly on the edge and switching what you're doing all the time. So our first ability is switching to the rifle extension. So the same that you have in with the A180, which she has as a base blaster pistol. It's a bit different than the pistol that is for the normal troopers, because it's a bit slower but doing more damage and more damage over distance. So it's a little bit more of a like Desert Eagle, like long distance, high power shot. But then she switches to that rifle extension, which is a lot like very high fire rate blast rifle with really high overheat though. So that was a balance because I really wanted it to be effective and a lot of damage, but then we balanced it with overheat because it really overheats quickly. Though if she switches back to her pistol, there's no overheat on the pistol, so that she can switch between those. Yeah. So that was that like agility, react to what's in front of her very quickly type of gameplay. Then we had what we worked together with CJ is the Sonic Imploder. It's similar to the one for the Trooper, but it's much more effective for Jyn, and that went into her gameplay in terms of like she would use that to start the fight and get closer to the enemies, to use her third ability, the Truncheon Surge. And the Truncheon Surge, sorry, since she has she's a big brawler type of character. I didn't want to have another rush like Dengar or Han, and we like she shouldn't feel either like a Jedi like Luke. So I wanted to have very short bursts and have charges, so you could do a few charges, like 3 charges, and then use your pistol to kill something, then use your grenade, do more charges, and feel that like quick dynamic character that is Jyn, and that's where the trait came in the design, is that then the trait would help her get more charges for that ability, and it quickly became obvious that she shouldn't get charges from the Truncheon Surge. So in the end, it's a bit more complicated as a trait, but she gets trait up from everything, so every kill with every ability, but only her blaster and melee, normal melee, and the grenade will allow her to get charges. So that pushes you into using your transient surge, and then you have to switch to your blaster or grenade to get some kills to get charges back.
Oh, I see.
So that again, that dynamic effect. If you used all your transient surge, it goes into cooldown. The cooldown is 20 seconds, and then you get 3 charges back. If you get kills during that time, you get the cooldown is reset.
Okay.
And you get to use your charge right away.
So does the transient surge, does it...
It's hard to say.
Yeah, exactly, it really... but does it just go wherever you aim, or does it actually like sense, oh, there's an enemy? Will it like automatically aim for the enemy, or do you need to like...
No, you need to aim it.
Okay,
so you need to... Yeah, it's not like... Luke has a bit of homing on his attack. It's not like that. It's very... it's directed where you're looking.
And I was also thinking about the Sonic Imploder, her version. Is it able to one-shot on normal infantry if it hits right on? It is.
Yes, it's doing more damage. So it's also if you have even a soldier that is backboned, it will die. But the range is like 3 meters. Radius. So. No, it was fun to work on Jyn and Krennic, especially since, I mean, they're characters that I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen the movie yet, so it was always like working with Lucas and trying to like see if it's a hit and miss. So could he do this? So like and it's always great to work with Lucas because they have, even if it's something that I'm proposing is like not really. They always come up with another idea behind that is, but you could do this, and it's like it's giving great ideas over time. So over all the heroes, they've helped a lot to sort them out and get their personality out.
Yeah, I can imagine it's fun to work, especially on something that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah,
like that's how I felt when I played the first time. Like, wow, this is Scarif. That's Jyn. That's Krennic. We're gonna see them in the movie soon. Like,
yeah, and you add a bit more because they do in the game, they do things that they do in the movie as well, but it's its own take on it. Basically, it's inspired by it. So
yeah. Now on to something that I know a lot of people are excited for. Traits for all the vanilla, the 6 vanilla heroes.
Yeah, I wanted to do something. So first, it's there's 2 big reasons. First one is basically to balance them, because the DLC heroes have been stronger and more powerful than the vanilla heroes. So I wanted to bring them up to the same level. And the second reason is also to bring something to the players who don't have the season pass. And to give them a little bit of taste on like the traits, and so give them something. So
yeah. So should we go over them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Another long list.
Yeah.
So let's go with Luke Skywalker, which is a little bit of I don't know, not a favorite, but it's a nostalgic trait basically, because I think my first patch or my first check-in as a hero designer was to reduce Luke's speed, and it was like as soon as it came out, it was very controversial, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, no!" It was so I was very like a bit insecure about it and all that. I stood by it. I thought basically the reason was that Luke was too much in your face. So you would see him, you would almost not see him arrive, and you wouldn't have time to react. And the speed was reduced slightly. So now his new trait is that he's getting sprint speed with kills. So, and I think that's what I wanted to have at the start, but not like knowing the solution at that point. Maybe that I wanted to Luke to arrive, kill a few people, but then get a quick exit or a quick follow-up on something else. So that's the philosophy behind it, basically.
Yeah, so I imagine if he's at max trait level now, it's gonna be.
It's faster than before.
Yeah,
like he's clearly faster.
He's gonna be fun in Hero Hunt now, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna. You will go through the map quite quickly. Then we have Han Solo. Han Solo was maybe a bit harder to define, but I felt like it was to find what is the hero lacking, maybe. And Han Solo is really good at short range, not that much, like his blaster wasn't as good on long range. So that was why I added, so that trait is increasing damage and like giving him a little bit of damage, not much on his trait level, but also increasing his range. And that makes him on level 3 like not the sniper, but he's more effective at long range, and that felt like it was one of the downside of the character, that you can with your skill compensate.
Okay, sounds good.
Then we have Leia. Leia she's the support, and then we have Krennic on the other side that got the armor buff for the whole team. So it felt like Leia needed to compensate that. But on the contrary of Krennic, who's increasing it with how many players are around him, Leia will be on her skills and on kills as well. So like the normal, like usual at least, way of increasing trait. But yeah, that was like a pretty easy choice, or easy go-to to have her increase the armor for everyone around her.
Yeah, so is the range and amount of armor about the same as Krennic?
It's about the same, yes.
Okay.
So, but for her it will be based on skills, while for Krennic it will be based on how he's placed himself and how other players are placed around him.
So. Right.
Then we have Palpatine. Palpatine is probably one of the strongest right now. So I wanted to, of course, give him trait to buff him, but then I needed to bring him down a little bit. So his lightning damage is going to be reduced. Okay. Not much, a little bit, but I think enough so that the trait will, especially with your skills, will compensate that and over if you're at level 3. But it was just to see what is a lot of fun with Palpatine, and when I'm playtesting, I'm just going with my Palpatine voice and and you just lightning everyone, and you're just that's what I think is fun, most fun with him. So that's what the trait is about sustaining lightning longer. Especially at level 3, you don't drain lightning anymore.
Okay, so you can basically unlimited power.
Exactly, that was the thought. Was like, yes, I just need to have unlimited power without I couldn't add a new ability or anything like that. So it's to reach that feeling of the character, like add a bit of personality into it. So. Then we have Vader. Vader is actually CJ who recommended that ID, and and it's I think it's an awesome ID. It makes, again, that's the thing with traits, is that it's, for me, adding personality to the characters, or like most of them, or and that Vader will increase his armor the more enemies he has around him. And we have this like the comic book from Vader where he says, "I only see dead people," and yeah, and it was also to force Vader into confrontation, like feel that you don't fear anything. You want to be in everyone's face, and everyone has to fear you. Same as Krennic, heroes count for 2.
Okay. So
if you have a hero and a trooper, you will have trait armor, trait level 2, I think.
Okay. About how much armor do you get as a Vader?
It's about you from trait level 1, which is only one character, you get 20%. From trait level 2, which is 3 enemies, you get 50%, and from 6 enemies you get 80%.
Yeah.
And so if you get into that melee of enemies, you will especially with his health, you will sustain so much damage.
And about what range is it?
It's about 14 meters in your radius, so 30 meters.
I feel like he might be picked a little bit more often in the games like Hero Hunt now, because he's not just gonna. That was the problem before when a lot of people clamped up against Vader. You could take them out one by one, but you still took a lot of damage. Yeah. But now you won't do that, so that sounds good.
And the last one is Boba Fett, which is a lot of fun because it's the same, a bit the same philosophy as is with Palpatine. Is what is fun with Boba Fett, and it's flying around shooting people, and you want to do that longer and more. So that's what's increased with this trait. But also it felt like I wanted to do something with Boba Fett where it gives him a bit more tools as well. So it has a passive scamping that you will see pinging every 10 seconds, but it's active all the time. So it just the effect is to remind you that you're pinging without pinging like every 3 seconds and going crazy. But yeah, basically it will scan between 5, 10, 15 and then 30 meters. So it's helping you to hunt and helping you to be Boba Fett, the bounty hunter that is searching for his prey and outsmarting them, and so that's again like adding a bit of personality, adding a bit of who I feel the character is and how I would want to play them.
All right. So you said it. So the distance it pings changes over.
Exactly.
Yeah. So sometimes you might just see 5 meters, but then later you will see like 30 meters.
Yes, if you have trait level 3, you will see over 30 meters.
Trait level as
yes,
well.
exactly.
Okay, I see.
So it's the jetpack and the scan are both based on the trait.
That's very interesting. All right, so that concludes all the vanilla traits, right?
Yes.
Let me see. So I'm just curious. Is there any other changes you've done to the vanilla heroes, just in regards to their abilities?
Well, I did some balancing changes. So about Vader's multitasking, which is not a new ability, or I think it was a bit of misunderstanding there, because it's been like forever. People ask me to make Vader not so vulnerable when he's force choking, and that's basically what is the Vader's multitasking, which is he can force choke, but then he can block at the same time, and lightsaber throw and attack. So you can do everything while someone is force choked. While before you were just stuck in that and took a lot of damage, so it felt like force choking was not. Can you helpful, even
block and force choke at the same time?
Yes.
That's.
But your arm will kind of go down like so it will, but you will block actively.
Okay.
So
perfect.
Your
that was definitely.
You won't have your arm up in the air and.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like that, but it will. Gameplay wise, it will improve how force choke is working. But otherwise, there's been quite a bit of changes in this patch. So Luke, for example, got a little bit more health. That was a big request, and yeah, that's true. Like for example, Jyn has 1,200 health because she's not that fast, and she needed to be a little bit more tanky because she's more melee oriented. So she has 1,200 health, and it felt like Luke, even if he has the speed, he's still also melee oriented. So he feels like he needed to be to sustain a little bit more damage. So his health is buffed to 1,100.
All right. And while we're talking about health, how much health does Krennic have?
He has 1,000. So
okay.
Similar to like Boba Fett, Han Solo, the normal hero health, I would say. But then we have Chewbacca. Chewbacca is I really like Chewbacca, and a lot of people are not upset. A lot of people are saying that he's the one of the weakest right now, which is true. So I did quite a bit of changes. I changed his health to 1,500, so I think it was 150 boost. So it's not Vader health, but it's quite a bit of health. He's a little bit faster. He's still slower than a normal trooper, because that's
sense.
Chewbacca.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a little bit slower in how he moves, but he's a little bit faster now. And especially I increased the damage of his main projectile. So how his bowcaster works is there's one main projectile, and then all the other projectiles are like side projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's when he has all those projectiles, he can do a lot of damage and he can be very destructive. But it's that one first projectile that needed buff, I think, to get to that point and start killing soldiers. So I improved the damage on that one and the explosive damage.
I see. Yeah.
Yes.
Did you change anything about? Because something I noticed was that after you used some of his abilities, there was quite a large delay before you could use the other ones. Has that been changed?
That has been fixed, especially for the roar. Okay. You can shoot while you do the mighty roar.
Oh, perfect.
You still for the ground slam, you still will do the animation where you go up, so that delay will still be there. But I think that's commitment.
Yeah, that was more natural.
So, and it's doing a lot of damage. It's very big area of damage, so it's a commitment to doing a lot of damage over a big area. So it needs that for balancing.
All right.
And also when he's switching on his first ability, it's also a little bit quicker.
Okay,
so
perfect.
It still needs that animation, but it's a bit quicker to actually shoot with.
Yeah.
Then we have some fixes as well. Bosk predatory vision is fixed.
Good toggling works now. Yeah.
Yes, it was a bit crazy. Every time someone pressed that button, it toggled it off for Bosk, so that's why
around him or
on the server.
Oh,
so
that's why. Because I noticed in skirmish it didn't do the issues. That's why.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
So that's why it was a bit going a bit crazy and very quickly turning off.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have Lando's Power Blast. The why it was doing so much damage is that it's a projectile that was doing more damage the further it was hitting. So that's fixed. There's less homing on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's still homing, but not lucky shot homing.
Yeah, okay.
So, yes, and then there's Han's shoulder charge. It was a big request that it gets the same hitbox as Dengar, so it does now.
Finally, I'm glad about that.
It's a little bit off, but it's more fun to play. So,
perfect. Any more?
Yes, one more thing is the Dengar Hurricane Strike. There was it felt like an issue, and I think it's just the way it was implemented. Basically, the idea with the Hurricane Charge is that it would shoulder you and do a certain amount of damage, but if it hit you with the actual strike with his weapon, he would do extra damage.
Okay.
So it would be like 100 damage when you do the charge, and then 50 damage extra when you do the hit.
Mm-hmm.
But when you looked at it, it felt like you took damage and then more damage. So it felt like you took double damage. So instead of doing that, I changed it to only one type of damage, but averaged that damage. So instead of doing 100 with his shoulder and 150 with his hit, he's doing 130 overall.
Okay, I see.
So
yeah, because I remember I tested that in a Mythbusters video recently. So right now it's gonna do the same amount of damage no matter where it hits.
Everywhere, and you're not gonna get double damage by it.
All right. So. That was pretty much the only thing I was thinking about. I saw someone suggest is, have you thought about possibly doing so that Trooper Bane from Leia will kill Baghdad people?
Yes, that's first. Yeah, Trooper Bane is going to be able. You're going to be able to toggle it off.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to, for some reason, switch it off, you can. But yeah, that's one thing I couldn't get to, but I fixed it recently, and that we'll get in later on.
Okay, perfect. And regarding heroes, something that's been an issue about since the Death Star is that there's been a lot of multiple hero glitches, both in Walker Assault and Hero Hunt.
I think the community asked me to not fix that, or what? No, yeah, that is fixed. It's been fixed locally. It's been tested by QA. Everyone is assured that it's fixed.
Perfect,
so,
perfect. Yes. Yeah, that's good to hear. Do you have any more changes you want to bring up, or should I move on?
No, I think that was most of the changes. I think there's a bit more to the patch notes, but globally that was the most important ones, I would say.
Okay, perfect. Alright, so a couple of quick questions regarding extraction. First off, has the hero selection bug been fixed?
Yes, and we actually changed the hero selection, so you're not assigned a hero. You select who you want to be, and you can use Krennic on Solast, you can use Jyn on the Death Star. There's no problem with that.
Oh, perfect. So we're gonna see like a fresh gameplay in extraction, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. And then also regarding extraction, have you fixed so that the medical droid won't block the extraction?
No, CJ fixed it.
Oh, okay.
So Christian fixed that bug. So.
All right, yes. Perfect. Same thing I asked Christian, but the other way around. What is your favorite blaster or star card in the game?
It's the EE4.
It is?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's when playtesting on Scarif, I had to change weapon because it was harder to hit on that long range. But I really like the multiple shot, and that you get high damage, and I really like the feel of the weapon. So.
Yeah, it's a very popular weapon in the community. So yeah. So which hero are you the most proud of, or is your favorite so far?
Yeah, that's a hard question to answer, and I think Bosk I'm really happy with. There's different reasons for every hero. That's the problem. Is that Bosk is like I have a little. Little tingly feeling for him because of the canon stuff. Like I went for Trandoshans and everything. A lot of stuff was legends but not canon. Like the Scorekeeper, for example, she was legends but not really canon. And then I tried to brought that, like, asked Lucas, he's like, oh, is it okay if we have lines about that? Yeah, definitely. He's like, oh my god, awesome. So especially for Bosk, I think it was a lot of things that were brought from legends, and then there's I think Greedo. Greedo is one of the favorite, because I think that's where I started to realize that I needed to bring the personality in, and the idea behind Greedo is that he's terrible at what he does. Like if you see him in Clone Wars or in the movies, he's not managing to do anything. Nope. And that was like, okay, yeah, that's so he's probably not very confident about himself. he's probably like thinking that and then but maybe then as you get kills, you get more confident, you get like better grenade, and you get more powerful, and you get more sure of yourself. And that's I think that's for Greedo. And I mean, it's the first character, but it's still like where I really realized, yes, I need to like think about who is the character, what personality he is, and try to make that into a fantasy, into the powers. And in terms of gameplay, I think I'm looking forward to Krennic. I think he's really supportive and completely directed to that, and not really like the kill streak. So I'm looking forward to see him in action and see players use him.
Yeah, all right. So similar questions to you. It's Christian again. If you could do anything differently with any of the heroes you've created so far, what would it be?
I think if I have one hero, I would go back to, I think it would be maybe Lando. I'm happy how he plays. I think he has his like his set of abilities makes sense in terms of gameplay, but I would like again, that's the personality, putting personality in the character. I think I would like to revisit that and see if I could change some things to put a bit more personality in him. So that maybe not sure what I would do.
Yeah.
But maybe I would give another look to Lando maybe.
All right. So what has been the hardest part of creating heroes to Battlefront?
Hardest part is probably again, I'm saying personality like 50 times, but again, to try to make sense of the personality, put it in the game, while creating a new hero that plays differently than the others, and have his own interest in have that players have an interest to play him in the battlefield, and use them and find something new to do with them. So combine making that personality, making all the gameplay aspects. That was probably the hardest. But as you when I work on heroes, I have to design them fairly quickly for all the other like animators, sounds, VO, all those people to start working on them and doing the recordings, doing the mocaps. So the design starts really early, and it's you don't have that much time to iterate. So you iterate as you actually build the heroes. There's a lot of design changes, and that's I would say that's a hard part, but also like one of the most fun parts is that when you see that hero going from your design, that you're like, that's probably working, and then you do changes and then suddenly that personality comes out, and you start, oh yes, that's exactly what I wanted, and it makes sense. That's I'm not answering properly, but
but that's a good explanation. I mean, it's hard to just answer with a quick sentence. So, and I mean, kind of the opposite question, or like, what has been the best or most fun thing about creating heroes to Battlefront? Because I can imagine it's quite fun to do that.
It's definitely a dream job. Like, tell me like 5-10 years ago, you're going to make heroes. You're going to make Chewbacca. I was like, no, what, who? But the most of course the most fun is it's a very like football player, one for the team. But it's working with a team, like especially working with Christian CJ is really good. He's really has tons of ideas, so we're bouncing ideas all the time. It's really fun to work with him. And but like on a personal, it's I think it's when you see that character come out, and when you see that character start taking shape, and you start you play with him, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's actually Lando, that like it actually works, and when you start, all the pieces are coming to get together, and you do your final design changes, and you talk to each other. It's like, oh yeah, then I should do that, and then suddenly everything, all the pieces are together, and that's a great feeling, I think.
Yeah, I can understand the nice feeling every time you complete the heroes for each expansion. So do you have anything else you want to add before we end?
Well, yes, a great thanks to the community for the passion and simply playing the game. That's awesome. I'm very grateful for that. I wouldn't be here if there was not all those people playing the game, and thank you so much, everyone.
All right. So this final question, as I asked Christian as well. Would you rather fight one ranker-sized Ewok or 100 Ewok-sized rankers?
I do think ranker-sized Ewok.
All right.
Because of the furriness would be off the charts. So I think it could be cuddled into submission.
Yeah, you just need some raw meat, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Cuddly, is it the word? Maybe.
Oh, sorry?
Cuddly, is
Yeah.
it the word?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
But yeah, so thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. It was great to share that, and yeah, we should have done that earlier.
Yeah, a little bit easier than Twitter, I guess.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, and thank you very much for everyone watching. And as always, may the force be with you.
Always.